There is only one you, and that is your superpower. You can't F that up. However, you can get stuck. That's why I created this space called UnStuck Yourself with Crystal Simmons. UnStuck Yourself is about figuring out what has you feeling frustrated, isolated, or depleted of energy so that you're able to unstuck yourself on your journey through life when you don't know how to move forward. Unstuck yourself in your career that no longer excites and challenges you. Unstuck yourself with negative thoughts that seem to be doing cartwheels in your head consistently. I don't have the answers. You do. You always have. I'm providing the time, space, and grace for you to reconnect to that knowing. I'm Crystal Simmons, coach, speaker, and facilitator, and I'm grateful you made it here. Let's begin to unstuck yourself. Hey, peeps, it's Crystal, the Unstuck Yourself coach to women who have said, I can't take this anymore, and they need to make a change. I do so by supporting my clients uncover mindset blocks and shifting their energy, which leads them to making progress towards unstucking themselves with ease, clarity, and a sense of freedom to choose. As life keeps lifing, I'm here to share Crystal's AAAs to increase your awareness to what is and isn't working as you enhance your abilities to take action. And I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. I'm not going to lose my mind, but okay. I'm excited to be speaking with you all, lovely peeps, because I have so much to share and I want to get to it right now. What's new in Crystal Town? Many of you might remember I have been on the hunt for a job, and I applied to so many different jobs, some that I didn't even want to work at, and then many I was hoping didn't hear back or was declined like 2 days later. It's safe to say I was losing hope. And for those of you who are new here, yes, I am. I am a coach. I am a paid speaker. And yes, I do the writing, the producing, the recording, and the editing of this dope-ass podcast you're listening to right now. But last year, I made the conscious decision to seek employment for 2 reasons. The first one, I miss people. I left my corporate salary job in 2019. I've worked part-time jobs here and there. That was until the pandemic hit. And basically the source of my income was coming from my coaching clients and the workshops that I had put on and my Arbonne plant-based wellness product business. Shout out to the peeps that still rock with me and these dope products. Y'all don't even know how much y'all mean to me and how you allow me to keep flourishing in so many ways. But it was getting a little sticky. So these past, 2.5 years have accelerated my personal development, my perspective, and my trust for my intuitions, my trust for the goals and the gifts that have been put inside of me. But I'm ready to work with a team. Building a business is extremely rewarding when you have a thought or a whisper and then you create it and it comes to life and people actually rock with it. Super dope. But it also can be very lonely and you need people. As human beings, I will forever and always say we need connection. It is a source of life. We need human connections. If the pandemic didn't show us that, I don't know what will. I knew I needed people and I found my people and my people found me. All I gotta do is pass my background check for this part-time job and I'm good to go, which I don't foresee any issues, but I'm gonna spare the details until I get that official letter. And remember, I said there were 2 reasons. The second reason that I decided to get a part-time job, I'm gonna share a story. I thought in getting a part-time job as an entrepreneur was a failure. And during a session with Sheila, who was my previous peer coach, because I wanted to work through this, she told me so beautifully to think of this job that I'm seeking as a venture capital. Think of it providing you the funds to rest easefully, to build a community of supporters, to fund you, to fund all that you're trying to create and want to create. So I can be more creative. I could be in the flow of my business. I don't have this pressure of, I gotta make it so then people understand it and then they want to work with me. And ever since she shared that, y'all, I was like, yes, those are the words I needed to hear. I gotta find the peeps who can pour into me and the peeps that I can pour into as well. So that's what I'm doing. And the best part about this is I showed up fully as Crystal. Even little Crystal was in there. I completed 3 interviews, which is the most I have ever done for any position. In me, showing up as me fully gave me the best gift that I could have ever given myself. Many of you may have remembered I did an interview with Kay Kirkman, and she shared on a previous podcast episode of mine that as the applicant, we empower ourselves when we, the applicant, pre-qualifies the employer by asking questions to determine if this place is actually a place that you want to work at. Do they share the same values as you? Do they offer support, training? Is that a top priority? How do they feel about promotions? Are they looking for you to grow rapidly if you put in the work? Or are they interested in you staying in that position for a decade or 2? Are they all about the grind and get it done no matter what? I found some people go to apply for a job and don't get it. We take it as a loss, a failure. But many times in the job interview, you're trying to please them that you haven't even realized, I don't want to work here. I don't like this culture. Y'all are on some trash stuff. So all I'm saying is be mindful for those who are seeking employment. And some of you did message me and say you were. Please put the power back into your hands. You don't have to go all rogue and go off on them, but come in there with questions that you need to know in order to show up fully yourself, to provide the best service, to be the best employee. Make sure you are qualifying the employer. All I'm saying is I found my peeps, so I'm gonna toot my own horn because it was the dopest feeling ever. Hold please. I'll be right back after these dope messages. Say cheese. We all know that is the universal signal for let's remember this moment together by tilting our heads to the side and showing off all of our teeth and smiling, right? But have you started tilting your head to the side and avoiding showing off your pearly whites? Maybe you've noticed that the tooth in the front is being super antisocial with your other teeth. So rude. That is completely normal, but it doesn't have to be your case. Back in January 2021, I realized the shifting of my teeth was getting increasingly worse, and I found myself occasionally slurring my words and at times avoiding certain words altogether. Y'all, I was speaking more. I was going live on Instagram more, but I felt like my teeth were holding me back from sharing those gems. I was speaking. Thankfully, my sister told me how cool the peeps at Bates Orthodontics were and how close they were to my house. Listen, you can give me good people who love their job and the people they serve, and I'm in there. I gave them a ring, scheduled my consult, and the rest is straight teeth history. Bates Orthodontics has multiple locations in the Richmond area, and my favorite go-to is their new location in Chesterfield, where Dr. G is providing top-notch care with a side of humor that brings comfort to any newbie interested in being straight teeth peep. I love Bates Orthodontics because they invite me to ask all of my stuck questions. Y'all know I love questions, but they do so without making me feel like I'm a bother to them. They are there to help bring your smile back to life with Invisalign. Invisalign treatment is the clear alternative to metal braces, which I also had decades ago, but I didn't wear my retainer, but that's another story. Invisalign are for kids, teens, and adults. Call Bates Orthodontics today at 804-258-4268. Again, call Bates Orthodontics at 804-258-4268. Or you can visit them at batesbraces.com. BATESBRACES.com. batesbraces.com and schedule your free consult by clicking the bright green button at the top and following 3 easy steps to reserve your appointment today. Bates Orthodontics, where we're bringing smiles to life. And no worries, if you're not local to Richmond, Virginia, just visit Invisalign.com and enter your zip code to find the right Invisalign provider for you in your area. Be sure to tell the dope folks at Bates Orthodontics, Crystal Simmons sent you from the UnStuck Yourself with Crystal Simmons podcast. So let's get back on track. Oh, you want to know what track? The dope train track, that is. We are discussing all things coaching. Like, is coaching BS? And who uses a coach? Or how would someone use a coach? This is fun. So we're going to go through these questions. And I'll share a little bit about my realm of being a coach. And let's start with the first one. Is coaching BS? Well, some people, I'm sure, may think coaching is BS, and they're entitled to their opinion. What I will say is, there's also a show on Netflix called Is It Cake? Which people probably think is a waste of time, but I love that show. It is so fascinating to see people who are so talented make food that I can eat, but looks like I can't eat it. If you haven't watched it, go ahead and watch it. Super dope production, very funny. Only thing I don't like is I can't eat the cake. All of that cake, where is it going? Who's eating it? Are they wasting it? So many questions. But let's go back to coaching. So what is coaching? And I decided to use the definition that IPEC, which is my coaching school that I am a proud student of. IPEC stands for Institute for Professional Excellence in Coaching. And they do that, no lie. Coaching is about a relationship. It's a partnership between the coach, me, and the client, potentially you. The power of coaching is in this alliance, this partnership, this agreement, we in this together. And that is the biggest takeaway. So I can't speak for other coaches and I can't speak for other clients because every partnership is unique. And that's the dopest part, where it's not about me, baby. It's about you too. It takes both of us. It takes two. According to the International Coach Federation, the powerful difference between a regular conversation and a coaching conversation is that a coaching conversation has an outcome. Come on, y'all. How many times you go to your friends and you're like, hey, I got this issue at work. Matter of fact, that's exactly what I did when I was in my corporate job. I talked about my job for 2 full years. Family and friends, they tried their best. Crystal, I know you can do it. The man tried to hold you down. I got it. But still, fight. Stay there. Of course people don't want you there. Of course they're mad you're there because you're young. Got it. Maybe because you're young and black and you're a woman and they're like double your age and don't want to listen to you. Maybe. However, I didn't get an outcome. It was on replay. The story kept going on and on and on. Friends and family, they really mean well. They really do. And then you got some of the family, aside from them supporting you. Well, Crystal, you know what you should do, right? They give you the shoulds. They give you what you could do. Or they give you the, if it was me. Y'all, I'm like snapping my hands because I'm not snapping my fingers. I'm doing the little, what is that? The clap, the claw? I don't know. When we mean business and then we move our head to the side. I love us. No, but seriously, they mean well. They'll tell you what they would do, but they're not you. So they don't know all the work you put into this position. They don't know all the conversations you might have had at your job. Or maybe with a business partner, or maybe with a spouse. Like you've had all these conversations that there's no way you can share all the detail with. There's no way you can really share honestly because one, you don't want your friends going off on your spouse. You don't want your spouse going off on your boss. Like we share a little bit. We don't share all of it because it's impossible to do that. So having a friend, having a family member give you support, definitely need it. Absolutely. It's not the same as coaching. And it goes to say also the coach partners with his or her client to establish a meaningful outcome for each session that helps them to make progress towards their overarching goal for the coaching engagement. A fancy term for coaching by the ICF is partner with clients in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. Having friends, having family support you is awesome. However, you might get the advice. You might get the shoulds. And they mean well, but they're going off their own agenda. They're going off what they would do. And that's not necessarily helpful. And to add on to what people may assume coaching is it like therapy? Thankfully, we are speaking more and more about therapy. I have a therapist. I have a coach. I think every coach needs a coach because we're too close to the feelings. We're too close to the emotions. We're too close to the goal at hand. With so many emotions so high, it's hard to come out of that box to ask yourself questions, clarifying questions consistently. I'm not saying that you can't do it. Having someone that's not in the box with you, not in the feelings with you, not like, this is my business, this is my baby, or this is my job title. I identify with being the boss. I identify with being the CEO. This is all I know, and I hold it to such high esteem. How can you then go, okay, well, let me think. As a CEO, could I walk away? What else would I do? What? Therapy tends to actually focus on things that happened in the past and why they happened. I get this a lot. What are the differences between therapy and coaching? And the main distinctions between coaching and psychotherapy are based on three things: focus, purpose, and population. The first is focus. Coaching focuses on visioning, success. We speak in the present, solutions. We're creating and moving into the future, where therapy is more psychopathology, emotions, focusing on problems, focusing on exploring the past in order to understand the present. And the therapist usually helps the client heal by figuring out why. And the second part is purpose. The purpose of coaching is performance improvement, where we're learning or there's development in some area of life. It could be in your career, in your relationship, in your health. And as a coach, I help my client move forward by focusing on the how. Now, the purpose for therapy often dives into deep-seated emotional issues to work on personal healing and trauma recovery. And the therapist can help clients fix problems, develop skills for managing emotions or past issues, overcome issues, and sometimes manage mental illness. And the third is population. And coaching works with the population of humans who are well-functioning individuals, where therapy tends to be more for individuals with some level of dysfunction or disorder. And like I mentioned, I have both. I focus on my why with my therapist, of why I react certain ways, and I have a coach to focus on my how. How do I want to grow my business? How do I want to show up as a business owner, as a creator? And I'm just so thankful that IPAC was able to really break that down for me in order to share that information with you all as well. And I have many clients who do therapy or who have started with coaching and now has transitioned into therapy. And I've had it vice versa. I have it where they have coaching with me and they have a therapist. There's no wrong way in order for you to have support and have resources and tools to empower you to take a step forward. Coaching is about bringing about awareness. If you take nothing from this episode, please take that. And the funny thing is, what are Crystal's AAAs? 1, raising that awareness. 2, recognizing your abilities. What can I do in this situation? And then 3, how can I take action? And as we continue on, is coaching BS? Coaching can be done by many people. There are people who provide coaching without becoming certified. There are people who provide coaching who are in the middle of becoming certified, which is me. And there are people who are already certified and maybe don't even practice coaching, but they do go through a series of training as a certified coach. I'm not here to say one or the other is better than the other. I worked in the medical field. There were a lot of trash doctors. I'm not going to name any of them, but those who work in the medical field, you know who's the nurse who actually enjoys her patients. And even if she's tired, even if she's really overworked, she remembers why she's there, to care for those patients. And you have nurses who maybe don't care as much, or they got into it thinking it was something else where they can make a lot of money. Maybe they could travel. I don't know. But I have encountered a variety of just humans because we're all unique. And I know of, like I mentioned, doctors who I would be in the OR room and note to self, nope, don't want you to perform any type of surgery on me. We all have our own preferences. And that's the beauty in entering a partnership with a coach. You get to decide who uses a coach. That's our second point. A person who uses a coach, one, has a strong need. That need can be anywhere from, I want to scale my business to bring in a certain amount of income within the next couple of years to ultimately sell it so then I could create another business. It could be someone who is noticing they want to go for a promotion at their job, but they're also recognizing they're not speaking up as much as they want. They're not owning their confidence. They're not owning their talents and skills and what they bring to the team. We have to advocate for ourselves. And as a coach, I have been able to listen to my clients, hear what their skills are, but also not just listen to their words, listen for the things they're not saying. Why are they hesitating on certain parts of their skills and ability? And us being able to dig in deep there, they are able to recognize, oh, I keep comparing myself to my coworker because they've been here longer. Case in point, when I started teaching at the X-ray school, I was an X-ray tech for 5 years. I thought I was a good tech. I really cared about my patients. I really enjoyed challenging exams because it gave me a chance to talk to the patient even more. It gave me a chance to discuss what I was doing with them. Like, hey, this is a little difficult, but I'm gonna need your help. And they're like, okay. Or some of them wouldn't even be conscious, but I would still speak to them. And it allowed me to process my thoughts, but it also allowed me to include the patient so that they weren't surprised if I'm moving a broken bone, that they might feel pain, but me communicating that to them. I think I was a very good tech. But when I was asked to teach at the school, I hesitated. I was like, can I be an instructor for only imaging patients for 5 years? And another thing that didn't help was there was an instructor who had been there the same length as how old I was. I started at the age of 34. She had been working at the school, that same school, for 34 years. Yeah, that's not intimidating. You know what I mean? Like, what? And I just remember just being so intimidated sitting in her class. She was talking about physics, and I was like, this is hard. That she just easily explains it and has worksheets. And I was getting nervous. Like, how can I do this? How can I emulate her? She was soft-spoken, very, very sweet. Some of the students will say, well, why don't you give us your number? Why don't you remind us about this or that? This instructor does. I'm like, I'm not that instructor. I'm Crystal. You are full adults. I'm not going to text you to remind you for a test or an assignment. I got to grade these things. So if y'all don't turn in, it's less work for me. No, I'm joking. I didn't say that. But I did say, no, I'm not this instructor. Thankfully, one of the students, and I don't know if they remember, they said, I love that other instructor. They're so knowledgeable. They know so much, and it's comforting that they're teaching me. But they did say they were rather monotone. And a bell went off in my head. Ding, ding, ding. I'm not that. I'm not monotone. That is my superpower. I'm leaning in. So I ended up doing games. I ended up doing Play-Doh. I leaned into my superpower. There are various reasons why someone will use a coach. If they have a need, they want to do more of this, or they want to stop doing more of that. So they have a need. They have definitely expressed looking for help. They have been listening to podcasts. They're reading books constantly. They have reached out to a mentor. And luckily, I'm glad I brought that up because mentoring is dope. Mentoring is cool. It's a great way to have like a role model who has been there and done that. And basically what a mentor does is there to help show us the ropes. But coaches, we don't use personal experiences as a model of success for the client. The client is the expert of their own life. My role as the coach is being the expert of coaching in that coaching process. And I help the client even without firsthand knowledge of what the client has experienced. I am able to listen. I am able to ask for clarity. I am able to paint the picture. I am able to say, did I get that right? Are you saying this? I am able to toss it back to the client. When you said this, or when your body shifted, what did that mean? When your voice got lower or dropped, or when you hesitated, what's coming up for you? And the client always has the answers. They always have the answer. It's so good, y'all. I will ask my client a question because I genuinely do not know the answer. And I'm so curious. And they'll give me the answer. I'm like, I did not see that coming. I don't have the answers. You have the answers. And that is why I say that at the beginning of every single episode. It is a fact. Me giving you advice is not going to help you if my advice is coming from a place of fear, shame, and me trying to overcome it. And your situation is coming from just hesitation because you need a clear plan or you need a clear next steps. That's not the same. And that's why I love coaching so much. So we've gone over, is coaching BS? We also said who uses coaching. And I also share why someone would use a coach. You have expressed a need. You have also expressed needing help, meaning support. The third thing is timing. Are you now getting closer and closer to the deadline to apply for this promotion? Are you realizing now you're like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I cannot take this. I need to make a change. Are you now recognizing my kids are getting older? They're about to leave the house soon. And it's just going to be me and my partner. What am I going to do with this extra time? Are you realizing that you actually have more on your plate now and there's no way you can take on this partnership because you feel like you wouldn't be able to give it your all? Because coaching requires the client to do work. And that work could be reflecting on what was discussed in the coaching session. That work could be having a difficult conversation to get your point and your desires and your needs across to the other individual. That work could be applying for a job. That work could be going on an interview and feeling confident and really solid in why you would be a great fit for that position. Because we've gone through what the job requires. We've gone through what values align with yours with the job. And you are like, yes, this is my place. So many reasons why someone would use a coach. So that we can kind of wrap this up with a bow on it. Coaching can come in a variety of different packages. My suggestion would be test the waters. Schedule a clarity call or a discovery call. And in these calls, it really is allowing you, see if you actually vibe with this coach. Are they listening to you? Do they hear you? Do they understand what support you need should you decide to work with them? But also, number two, do you want to talk to them? Do you feel comfortable enough to take the next step with this individual? I appreciate those who I have done clarity calls with, those who have become my clients, sharing feedback of non-judgment. As a coach, that is the biggest key element to being a dope coach. Not judging what your client desires or wants, even if you've never experienced it. If my client wants something, that is their agenda, and it is my duty to be there to help them achieve it. However, if there's something that is very activating, or it hasn't happened to me, I've heard other coaches If there are topics that the coach keeps finding themselves in their client's box, they're getting emotionally wrapped up in, we're not of service. And it is our duty to communicate that with our client. And that could be just a conversation like, hey, I'm actually not the best for this particular goal, or I don't think this would be a great match, but I can refer you to another coach. It is our responsibility as a certified coach to communicate that to our clients. But use that time to test the waters with more than one coach. I did that for myself before I chose my first business coach. I spoke to, I want to say 2 or 3 people, and I actually spoke to my business coach twice before I signed up with, I think it was twice. You are creating this. You do what you need to do. Allow yourself to go through and meet with a couple of coaches to find out if it's a fit for you, to find out if the time frame, because the coaching packages could be very different depending on the coach and depending on your needs. Just be mindful that there isn't a one size fits all. Different coaches have different styles, and you have a say in who you work with. The discovery call shouldn't be like, gotcha. It should be like, I'm trying to figure out if we mesh well, if we vibe, if I can understand clearly what your goal is. Is there a need there that I can assist you with? Is the timing right where I have room on my schedule, or that you are committed to doing the work? The 3 simple questions when you go into your discovery call with a potential new coach. Number 1, asking them what their area of expertise is. If you are looking to do a life change and they might be a hardcore business coach, it might not be a match. The second question I would ask is, what does coaching look like with you? Do you offer over the phone? Do you offer Zoom? Do you do in-person coaching? There are coaches who do all of those. I have done over the phone and I have done Zoom. What I have found is Zoom is a great source. However, when I go to the phone, I've noticed my clients be more open, more relaxed. They are out of their heads of, we're on camera. You can see me. They're looking at my expression. They're seeing if I think this is good, this is bad. And that takes away from the client experiencing their own feelings. It's not about me. Nothing is good or bad. And I know some of you are like, what do you mean? Is it helpful? Having feelings and emotions around something that happened 20 years ago and a client is still holding on to that, there's nothing bad about that. The question is it helping you hold on to that? Or is it really stopping you in your place and it's been doing so for 2 decades and you didn't even have any idea? And the third question I would ask is, what can I expect from a coaching session once I decided to work with a coach? Again, this can vary from coach to coach. However, the first call that I have with my new clients is normally 90 minutes long. It's longer than the other coaching call sessions would be. And the reason being is this is new. I want my client to get to know a little bit more about me. I want to get to know a little bit more about my client, but we also get to design what we call the coaching alliance that I mentioned earlier. And these are just a series of questions of, how would you like for me to hold you accountable if you've agreed to take some form of action and you don't? Would you like for me to be more supportive? Would you like for me to be more direct? Would you like a mix of both? As the client, you're able to change that. You're able to say, I like you being more my cheerleader, but if I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And thankfully, my clients, when they say they're going to do something, they do it, which is so dope. They're like, oh, if I said I'm doing it. And they always do it. And if they don't, that's cool too, because we get to figure out what got in the way. Maybe work was crazy. Maybe you realized, I really don't want this goal and I just realized it. Oh, wow. That is still work. We still did the do. So the first session is typically 90 minutes. The rest of the coaching sessions are typically an hour. There are some coaches who do 45 minutes. There's some coaches who offer 30 minutes. For my clients, we do an hour. And that is just an overview of what coaching could look like, what it could feel like, who is it for. Everyone is encouraged to try out different coaches by completing a discovery call. Many are free. Some may charge. This is a value. Our time is valuable, and that we want to know, are you ready to do this? No one's going to bat an eye at a $10 discovery call if you're spending hundreds of dollars on a coaching session. Just remember, this is an investment, and it's never about the money. It's never about the money. When the value and desire is strong enough, people will invest their time and money. Period. For example, the Tesla. Now, I don't know a lot about the Teslas, but what I will say, people will purchase these for various reasons. One of the reasons are to stunt on other people. Because it's new, it's unique, it's amazing. But the basic needs for a car, for transportation, to go to and from various places, to the house, to feed yourself, to support yourself, you can buy any other car for those basic needs for transportation. But people who own a Tesla see value in what Tesla's bringing. It's not about the money. It's about the feeling of knowing you are in a car that offers you all the things other cars offer, but then some. And I'm not mad at it. Again, money is never a factor in coaching or not. For those who are pondered about coaching and what the first step would look like, can now say confidently and unstuckfully that after scoping a coach or two out, you can pick a date on your calendar and schedule a clarity call with that coach or coaches and use those 3 questions. Use this as a chance to pre-qualify that coach before entering a partnership with that individual. And while you're doing so, listen to your intuition and trust the answers will come to you. And for those who have been pondering super hard about scheduling a call with me, this is your invitation. Is there one? Is there one? Click the link in the description of this show and take the first step. I'll have my hand out, ready to walk with you. It takes 2, peeps. We're in this together. Here are the unstuck questions and gems. Number 1. While friends and family tend to want the best for us, they tend to live in a space of giving advice, saying what they would do, which is their agenda. Partnering with a coach allows you to create your own agenda by identifying your needs and wants and making progress towards those goals. Number 2, therapy focuses on problems and exploring the past by helping the client heal by figuring out the why. And coaching involves visioning, success, the present, and solutions to move into the future by focusing on the how. Number 3, coaches need coaches and some need therapists too. I have both. Number 4, the client is the expert of their life, and the coach is the expert of coaching by asking clarifying and empowering questions that spark clarity. Number 5, the client always has the answers. Number 6, there are 3 reasons someone uses a coach. You have a need, you have expressed needing help or support for that need, and the 3rd is timing. When all 3 are there, that's when individuals tend to partner with a coach. Number 7, coaching requires the client to do the work, whether that is reflecting on what was uncovered in a session or taking the first step to transition to a new role at work. What is the next step you will take? Y'all came through last time with the shares of the last podcast episode, so let's keep that same energy by clicking this episode and hitting the share button icon. This helps the messages to reach more dope peeps like you, and it allows the messages to be more impactful. We have full paid sponsorship for the work and dedication of this podcast that I create and put out each week. If coaching is not a necessity for you, then consider becoming a monthly supporter by donating 99 cents, $4.99, or $9.99 to this podcast by clicking the link in any of the Unstuck Yourself with Crystal Simmons podcast episodes. Just do so by clicking support this podcast link. This also allows me to demonstrate to sponsors that I have a dedicated group of peeps who value this content with an exchange of appreciation by entering your credit card information. I'm so thankful y'all are here. For real, for real. I'm sending you love and light through this mic as you write your unstuck questions and gems to turn your actions into wins until they stay unstuck. Music production by Ev the Healer. That's at EVTHEHEALER on Instagram.